Hey, Forever Beautiful. Thanks for coming back, checking me out, y'all. And this is going to be another story time. Before we get into it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you are privy to every single video that I upload, y'all. Ooh, child. Okay. Now, we have got to stop. We have got to stop giving people access to us when they have not deserved it. You haven't earned the right to have access to me, so I mean, what are we going crazy about, right? Now, let me give just a little bit of backstory because this actually happened, right? So one day I'm out and about and I came across this guy. Now I see him in passing. He going where he going, I'm going where I'm going. And you know how you passing before you even get to, I ain't even gonna say that, before you get to people, you have already gave them a 1-2. You done already checked them out head to toe. So when you get closer, now you can see whatever else you're trying to see. Maybe you want to look in their face. Maybe you want to see a smile. Maybe you want to see some pretty teeth. Whatever it is, right? So he gets to me, and he said, he was like, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm doing pretty good. How about you?" He said, "I'm all right." I said, "That's good to hear." Now he's checking me out as he's standing there. He said, "Man, you got some pretty feet. Now you stuck on my feet." I said, "Thank you, I appreciate that." He said, "Those are nice shoes." I appreciate that too. Now, he done stopped dead in his tracks because he want to have some conversation. Now, ain't nothing wrong with some conversation as long as you stay respectful and you don't go too far, right? I'm all right with that. So, he said, "What's your name?" I told him, and I asked him, "Well, what's yours?" He said, "Mine is such and such and such." Reached his hand out to shake it. He said, "Well, it's really nice to meet you." I told him, I said, "I don't shake hands." And, people think that's hilarious when I say that. I don't know if they think I'm joking or do they think I'm being funny or whatever, but I'm not and I don't. Okay? So, anywho, he was like, "Oh, that's okay." Anyway, he was like, "Where you headed?" And I said, "I'm on my way home." And he was like, "I'm on my way right here to the store, blah, blah, blah," and all of this. I said, "Okay." Now, he went a little bit further. We talked for a few minutes, and, he kind of was talking about himself a lot. I really don't like that because if you claim you're interested in somebody, when you ask them questions about them, you try to get to know me. So I need to hear some interest, at least in that direction that you really trying to get to know me. He talked about himself for about 5 minutes, so I'm getting bored at this point. I don't even want to talk now. So he was like, he says, "So, what you do and what you do for fun, blah, blah, blah," all of this, right? So we had that conversation because I really was over it. Then he said, and I don't know why people go here all the time. This is just a go-to statement or question. They always want to know, "Well, maybe I can take you out to eat sometime. Maybe we can get some dinner. Maybe we go do something fun and all of that." There I go. I said, "Well, I have a battery of questions first." I said, "I can't just say I'm going to go anywhere with you." And he said, he was like, "Okay, go for it." So I always ask people, "Are you married?" He said, "No." "Engaged?" "No." "Are you seeing or talking to anybody?" He said, "Well, I have friends." Now, I didn't ask you if you had friends. I asked a specific question, so I was looking for a specific answer. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so he goes back to, he was like, "Dang, you really got some pretty feet." So at this point, I'm believing that you have a fetish. So I asked him, I said, "Oh, you got a foot fetish, huh?" And he was like, "Well, I just like feet." Strike one. Way too interested in my feet, right? That's one. And then I said, "So let's get back to this friend thing." I said, "Now, is this just a friend that you a friend you hang out with, or are y'all romantically involved and this, that, and the third?" He was like, "Well, we ain't done nothing yet." That's strike two. Okay. I said, so now I don't want to have this conversation no more. We got to get past this because that's turning me off. And then, so now he was like, dang. He said, so do you think we can go to dinner or something sometime? I said, I don't know at this point. And I said, we'll see what happens. Now I'm almost curbing him, and I knew that was coming. So we on strike two. Then I said, he was like, well, you probably got men after you too. He was like, look at you. He said, you look nice, you dress nice, you smelling good and all of this. He said, I know you got some friends too. So now he's deflecting, right? This ain't got nothing to do with me. We talking about you, okay? We are talking about you. So now I'm like, Now this is where we go wrong at people. We always want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. No. And then we be like, try to convince ourselves of something that may or may not be true, but we shouldn't have to convince ourselves of that. Well, as far as I'm concerned, we the prize. You know, if you after somebody, then clearly they are the prize. Not that you're not one, but they are the prize, right? So now he back to talking about himself. I'm like, yeah, this ain't nobody I'm gonna get along with. And I know I would prefer to have a chance to talk. I don't need you to have the whole conversation by yourself, because if you can and if you have to, then maybe you should be doing it by yourself. Somewhere by yourself, talking to yourself. You don't even need me in this conversation, right? Stop giving people access to you that have not, one, earned it. I don't know why people think that they deserve it when they do not. What have you done or said that makes me feel like, dang, I really want to talk to him. I want to talk to him more. I want to give him give him a little bit of time, and all of this. No, they haven't. We cannot convince ourselves of some things that we already seeing the flags. You already see the flags. You got to cut that off at some point. Now, if you entertain this person, knowing what you know, that's on you. Now, when you get your feelings hurt, okay, that too is on you. Stop giving access to people that have not deserved it or earned it. Well, I just want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And why? Why do you feel a need to do that? Because at this point, now you trying to trick yourself or prove something to yourself that, maybe this is the person for you. That ain't necessarily true. You just trying to convince yourself of it. Okay? Now, let me get back to that. So, he asked me for my number. Here I go. I said, I don't know about that. It was like, come on, just give me a chance. And why would I give you a chance? Why do you think you have this chance to get? And he said, he was like, you are funniest. I bet I am. Here I go, I'm funny, but I'm honest. I'm serious. So he was like, so I can't have your number. Here I go. I said, I don't know. I don't think that's appropriate right now. And he was like, well, I mean, if you want to, then now it's what I want. Now is what I want. He said, well, if you want to, then we could just have some conversation. We can talk over the phone until you're comfortable enough. And then, maybe we can go out or something at that point. And I'm like, yeah, I go, Now, I knew I had no interest in this man because you already turned me off, right? You got a foot fetish, which means that you're going to be more focused on my feet than me. Been there, done that. Then you telling me an answer to a question I never asked. And then you are deflecting from the question that I asked that you gave me a different answer to. And now you telling me something about myself when it was never about me. Okay, so he already had 3 strikes against him. So I knew I was not going to give him access to me because of those things. Okay, now I'm not saying that he couldn't have been a good guy. He might have been the best guy. I don't know this. I wasn't willing to risk it knowing what I knew. I was not going to give him access to me. Now, I have 2 phones, right? I know some other people that have 2 phones. But let me tell you how that works. First of all, if you call me, first of all, it's only a couple, let me say this first. It's only a couple people that have both my numbers, right? Only a couple. And I mean that. No more, no less. If you have one number to me, if you have both numbers to me and you call me, if I don't answer that phone, it's got to be a reason why. Maybe I'm busy, maybe I'm asleep, maybe I don't want to be bothered. Maybe, right? So why in the world, if you call one number and I don't answer, you feel the need to call the other number too? Because I feel like at this point, you stalking. You being a bug, you gonna be a bug. And I'm not interested in that. We definitely ain't doing that. Okay? But, people gonna do what they feel they need to and this, that, and the third, but you really not gonna get the reaction that you're looking for. So if you don't have my second number, I ain't got to worry about it. And better than that, if you don't have a number, period, I don't have to worry about that. Stop giving people all kinds of access to you. Stop taking people where you go, where you hang out, to your people's houses, to your buddies' houses. All this, that, and the third, and all of this. They don't need to know where you work, where you go to school. They don't need to know all of that, because when you look up, they going to be right there. Oh, I got to go to work. Where you work at? I work for. And you ain't got to tell them where. You ain't got to give them the exact location. What you got to do in the morning? Oh, I got a class in the morning. You do what you're taking up. You can get that information, maybe, or a little bit of it. Well, where you taking this class at? You ain't got to give the location. I'm just saying, a lot of things don't make sense. People will make you feel like it's so important that they just got to know. They have to know. You do not need that kind of access to people. But they definitely gonna find out, and then vice versa. Now, I know people with a couple phones too. If I call one phone and they don't answer, guess what? I may leave a message, I may not. I ain't got to go from the phone call to a message to a text message and all this, that, there. Why do I need to do all of that? Because if they didn't answer the phone, again, maybe they were busy. Maybe they were doing something. Maybe they had a doctor's appointment. Maybe. I don't know. But if they call back and tell me, then I'll know. I don't need to call the other phone. It don't make sense at that point. They'll be like, dang. You on both my phones and this, that, and the third. You doing this all day, every day. It's too much. Stop giving people access to you. Ooh, child. Anyway, a lot of that going on, but it's safe to say I did not give that guy my number because I wasn't interested. All right. And y'all, everybody that's kicking and skinning and grinning in your face and stuff, they ain't really that interested either. Maybe they interested in something. And you're going to find out one day if you continue to listen to and be bothered with the nonsense. Because people definitely going to say what they want to say, what they need to say, because they think it's going to further them. Okay? Anywho, y'all, that's going to conclude this story time. And I might do a second one. I just might do a second one. We'll see. Anywho. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. Be absolutely safe if you move around, y'all. And I will see you for the next story time.